Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Skills in Progress. It's a crazy time out there, isn't it? I live in Bavaria, Germany, and here we don't have a full lockdown yet, but I do treat it as one, and I simply stay at home unless I really have to go get groceries or something. And since I had a bit of time on my hands, I made a very short animation to show you guys what I did during the day. The animation itself is very easy to make. All I had to do is take 4 pictures, mask out the bits that I wanted to show, and that's about it. The hardest part about making this animation is deciding which image is going to be the base image, because as you move around the room, the lighting changes and it's not always easy to blend the images if the lighting changes too much. And before you say anything, no, I wasn't spying on somebody from behind the curtain. When I shot a photo with the curtains open, it was completely overexposed and unusable. So I simply took another one which I was able to use for the animation. I promise. Speaking of lighting and overexposed shots, it literally took me 3 videos to realize that the window behind me, which was causing the majority of lighting issues, also has a sun blind, which I can roll down. Yay me, right? Anyway, as I said, I had a little bit of time on my hands and I decided that it's about time to make myself an intro. So yeah, there you have it. This time for real. Maestro, roll the intro. So turns out it isn't quite as easy to make an animated intro in Premiere Pro. When I looked up how to make intros in Premiere Pro, Google was so nice to correct me. Did you mean After Effects? I changed my search terms and Google corrected me again. No, really, I think you meant to type After Effects. Then I realized it really isn't going to be that easy and I looked for a few tutorials on YouTube. And I found quite a few, but most of them are a mix of After Effects and Premiere Pro, or people simply bought an intro and then used it with Premiere Pro. I found a good channel called Orange83 who demonstrated how to create a loading bar, and I thought I could use that effect considering that my channel is called Skills in Progress. I intended to put the text Skills in Progress inside of a frame and make it appear as if it's loading, but I quickly scratched that idea because it didn't look anything like I imagined it, and I simply came up with a different and, in my opinion, even better idea. The one that you just watched a second ago. Anyway, after I figured out what I want to do, I created a project. I created a background image, the text and the border around the text, and then I spent the next 3 hours going back and forth trying to make something that looks good. And then this happened. So yeah, that happened. And even though I had autosave set to save every 5 minutes, apparently the files got corrupted or something. In any case, I had no choice but to start from scratch. Well, almost from scratch. I had the background, the frame and the text I made at the very beginning. So I created everything from scratch, but this time, instead of almost 3 hours, it took me less than an hour. And I managed to create it even better than last time. How I did it is quite simple. At first, I thought about creating it like a regular loading bar with the text inside and the frame loading over time. That would have been quite simple to do by simply using the crop effect, which you can find in the effects tab. But instead, I decided to use a mask and keyframes. I moved the mask back and forth to quickly go over the letters and make them appear for a fraction of a second. And that created the effect that you see on the screen. Bear in mind that you have to put the frame on a higher layer than the text, otherwise your mask is going to cover the frame as well. To then make all the letters appear in the frame, simply use the mask path parameter to expand the mask over time and reveal the letters. The next thing I did was quite simple too, but what was far more difficult to figure out is the timing to make it look the way I want it to look. I intended to make it look like it is rising and then slamming into the background to trigger the next effect. To make it appear as if it's rising above the frame, all you have to do is simply change the scale of the text. So the next effect that I wanted to make is to reverse the colors. After the text smashed into the background, the colors of the text and background should reverse. Originally, it took me quite some time to figure out why after I made another legacy title for the border and for the text, every time I changed the color for one text, it automatically changed the color for both. I still don't know why that is, and I honestly haven't bothered researching. To bypass this problem, I ended up simply making a copy of the border and the text, as you probably saw me do at the beginning of the clip. To copy your selection, simply hold Alt and drag a copy to the side. And after you change the properties of those copies, they only change for that copy, not for the other one. As for the background, simply make a new color matte. Set it to whatever color you want and drag it in. The last effect that I wanted to put in is when the text smashes into the background and the colors flip, I wanted the frame to flip as well. As you saw in my first attempt, that led to Premiere crashing, so I was very wary and careful with this effect the second time around because I didn't want to lose all progress again. I made sure to save a few times, even though that didn't help last time either, and then I put in the effect and tried to make it look as good as possible. I played with different variations and ideas, but in the end I settled for one that looked alright. Then I simply added text underneath the title and made the reveal with another mask. When I recorded this, I wasn't exactly sure how to achieve the frame flipping effect that I wanted, and this morning I had an idea which I tried, and luckily it worked, and that is the reason why the intro you saw earlier is a little different than what you just saw me edit here. And there we go, that is how to create your very own animated intro in Premiere Pro without having to buy one and without having to use After Effects or any other software. It looks a little bit basic, but honestly for somebody who's just starting out, it is good enough, and if you really want a proper intro with other effects, you can always invest in a proper intro later down the line. So that is all I have for you today. As always, if you liked the video, please consider subscribing, comment, share, like, and all the other good stuff that everybody keeps telling you to do. Thank you all for watching, keep learning, and until next time.